By the time we finished from court, the whole of South Africa was upside down. Young people who never heard about the story of their country in that manner trooped out to the streets on the side of what? Because I challenged them with their own history. Was it by beheading Mandela and Oliver Tambo and Governor Mbeki that you solved apartheid? Why will you recommend that now that we find ourselves in the same situation? The only difference is that in South Africa it was the Boers. Here it's the Fulani. But the principle is the same. Foreign invader, minority, white, now owner of land, to the exclusion of owners of land. Willings Commission, if I go back to the map, settled a number of things. Back to the oil business. The reason Willings Commission asked that development be accelerated for them was because of that, having sold this oil for this length of time, having degraded the environment that much. Those people, when independence comes, will find out and they will begin to make trouble. The British were hoping that they will be able to whisper to them to say, don't you see, you have this, you have that, when others don't have. Relax. They would then admit them in some way. That was the plan. But the people they handed over to in 1960 didn't do anything. When did Isaac Boro arise? Was it not 6 years down the road that they declared Niger Delta Republic from the same disputations that have now brought about Mend and the Avenger? Was it any different? They didn't keep that. The other part, who is from the Middle Belt here? The killings that are going on in the place. If you look at this north now, it hasn't changed. These boundaries you see here have not changed. That north that begins from here, this is about Gakem area, to Meduguri and Sokoto there. The portion in green, these 12 states that passed Sharia the other day officially. The balance, the one in purple, was where Ahmadu Bello wanted Sharia for the northern region, going into independence. That's when the British go away, it will be Sharia for his region. The other people, Joseph Tucker and all the ones from the Middle Belt, say, no, our people are not Muslims and we can't be part of one region if Sharia will be in place. They had to find common ground because they wanted a Middle Belt region. They fought and fought, they were being put down. The British settled it this way. They removed Sharia from the table and brought what they called penal code, so that those who are Christians can function freely, uninhibited in that. And that was the condition upon which the Middle Belt became part of northern region of Nigeria. Therefore, from the day in year 2000, that those 12 states, the portion in green in your map, from the day in year 2000 that those 12 states simultaneously imposed Sharia in their contiguous territory, they had moved away from that foundational agreement. They have seceded from the Union of Nigeria. They have seceded from the secular Federation of Nigeria. Having so seceded, they reinforce, they are now coming to overrun the rest of the place. And why do they have to resort to that? The constitutional instruments they put in place, including the one the British helped them to put in place since 1914 to 1922 to 1946. I'm sure you heard about McPherson and Littleton, all the way to independence. That became 63, which collapsed in 66. I'm now landing in the one that is on the table. And what we must do, which if we don't do, we will pay in blood. If we don't do, we will pay in blood. It doesn't matter what the noise elsewhere is. When it came for the British to go, and they were asking those territories they had governed for over 70 years at the time, how do you guys continue when we go? They had governed them as 3 different countries. Nobody knew what they were doing in the north. Nobody knew what they were doing in the east or in the west. Gradually, the meetings that began to bring them together started happening towards the 50s. By the time we came to 53, Enohoro moved the motion for independence because they thought they had come to where they could become independent. The northern delegates opposed it and defeated it. What was their reason? They said, oh, we cannot go from British colonialism, that we're backward. We're not yet in a position to compete with you. So if we go to independence now, the British will step away, you step into their shoes, then we remain where we are. You can go your own. The British didn't tell anybody why they wanted the Union to be. Remember that before then, Ahmadu Bello had cause to lament that this was the mistake of 1914, that Nigeria was a mistake of 1914. And not long after, Awolowo also had reason to say that this geographical expression. No, the ones who were building Nigeria did not believe in it up till that point.